Bleeding Edge Monotone.
Salutations, this is Bleeding Edge Monotone. Today I'm going to be going over my Nerf modification, The Wrong Side of Heaven. So, as you saw in the firing demo, this is a StryfeX and a Longshot fusion. The Longshot for the front shroud and the StryfeX for the actual core blaster. Nothing works up in the front Longshot. So starting up at the front, there isn't an end strike barrel lid, but I did that for a very good reason. You can see that the inside is hollowed out right there. If I had kept the through barrel, the weird deviation flight performance of my StryfeX in particular would have interfered with that barrel motion and caused a ton of squibs and misfire. So I simply hollowed out everything in there. Now moving down here, I didn't keep the bipod. I simply haven't painted it yet. I'm too lazy to do that right now. Moving down to the magazine, well, you have some notes of magazine compatibility. This is obviously compatible with the original Nerf Pro magazines. It is compatible with standard Talon. It is compatible with Talon geometry magazines like the AF Pro magazine, but they are a very tight fit, so I might have to sand that down in order for them to fit. But it is not compatible with the X-Shot Pro magazines, the geometries in the lineup, and it just doesn't see. Moving up to the top, this is the original Longshot rail. I opted to keep this because it just looked tactical as fuck. And under that, you can see the jam door. The jam door doesn't really do anything with flywheel blasters since you don't have a magazine lock. You can take that out at any time, reach your finger through the magazine well to clear out jams and malfunctions. I did have a couple with the original design of the barrel shroud, which is why I didn't keep the original barrel intact with the front Longshot piece and the end strike attachment nozzle. Left that unpainted because I don't have any other places to put orange on the blaster to let people know, hey, this is a toy, don't get the wrong idea. I'm not shooting at my local club with an AR or something like that painted totally red. And never walk outside with a painted Nerf gun that's black or you will be shot. Not by a Nerf gun, by a cop. And getting to the battery tray, I did mistakenly paint that, so over time it will wear away as the battery is inserted or uninserted. And I'm not supposed to leave this in there, so whoops. Then moving on to the back, I kept the original end strike stock attachment point, but I did file it down a bit because one of the stocks that I was going to use for this integration didn't work very well with it, so I filed that down and I didn't end up using it, so it's just a little bit of a nub now. And as for the paint scheme itself, this is the standard M-Cross paint scheme, the red, gray, black that you guys know my channel for. I just think it looks pretty cool. Ignore the backside, it's a little bald because there's not as many places to put detail, but, you know. Now to get down to the actual hardware. I implemented the Longshot front end from the Longshot. Yes, this is the blue Longshot. I know some of you are mad about that. Oh, it could have been original blue Longshot. Whatever. I bought this with my own money. I get to do what I want with it. For the epoxy putty itself, I used JB Plastic. Well, I got this for like $8 a tube, and it works pretty decently. And for the actual fusion of the two shells, I used Smoothcast Smooth On 65D. I would have gone for Smoothcast 300, but by the time I found out that that existed, I had already done this, so whoops. But it gives me something to look forward to for the next integration that I do, to be able to improve upon it. As you can see, some of the shell lines aren't too strong with this one. I did kind of rush it a little bit to beat the weather, which I do kind of regret. Overall, it's strong, and I did test this. I laid a 25-pound weight, elevated each end, put the weight on the center line, and nothing broke. I think the smooth cast that's kind of holding everything together on the inside, the shell would break before the smooth cast did. And of course, I put it up on my chronograph to test the chrono velocity and achieved an average of about 147 feet per second, which my battery was a little low during testing, so I retested and I got an average of about 156 feet per second, which is a bit down from the original StryfeX, about 160 FPS, but you gotta keep in mind the front barrel shroud is probably decreasing performance. But if it shoots closer to the 150 FPS cap of my group, that's always good. I don't want to go overkill with anything. The energy that's through that dart is still going. It's still going to hit my target. 10 FPS isn't going to make too much of a difference at the distance that we engage at. So again, what are my final opinions on The Wrong Side of Heaven? Overall, I'm very happy with how this turned out. I think in some areas, I do have a lot to improve, and of course, this is my first integration. There's always something that's going to have to be improved. I think what I'm going to do is rework the barrel system to make it a longer through barrel, like a PVC piece or something that goes to the front where the end strike attachment nozzle used to be. Maybe replace the rail with some picatinny rail or something, so if I want to mount an airsoft sight, I totally can. and maybe adjust the grip so that it's a little less tacky right here, because some of the paint's already starting to rub off on my hands. But overall, that's about it for the Wrong Side of Heaven. Again, if you guys want to see more Nerf videos, then please do let me know. As always, this has been Bleeding Edge Monotone, signing off.